Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today I got to do a little bit of cleaning, but it's going to be a really fun cleaning. So somebody has wrecked their cage. They've shed and they've taken one of those massive poops that this kind of snake tends to do. So we're going to get her out. That would be a little 2.0. We'll set her on the table, do a little cleaning, kind of show you what it's like to clean a Gaboon Viper. Well, it just chills out over here. We're going to try not to get ourselves bit. And then what we'll do is we're going to slide over to Patreon, and we're going to pull out a different venomous species, put it on this table, and give you an update on how that is going, because I'm really excited about it. I got some really exciting news. But first and foremost, let's deal with this. So, 2 hooks with a Gaboon Viper. Now, she's not big enough to need 2 hooks, so this is really overkill, but I'm trying to get her used to being on 2 hooks, because that's what she'll be on for the remainder of her time. One thing I want to show you too, why you take these things seriously, that is a shed fang from a little while ago. That is out of her. They get bigger than this, obviously, but they're already that size. So, like, pay attention to what you're doing, folks, right? Don't take this lightly.
So I have a question.
Sure.
You're using 2 hooks because you wouldn't try to tail and hook?
I don't like to tail these. You'll see videos all over the place, people tailing Gaboon Vipers or free-handling Gaboon Vipers. That's because they're known to be fairly docile. They truly are a pretty docile creature. The problem is when you hook and tail one, should be having it in the hook and in the tail, they have enough body strength to flip back out of it. Now, it's not going to be the most accurate thing ever, and you're probably going to be okay, but because they have the strength to truly flip backwards, up and out, and the reason it's not going to be that accurate is they flip back and out, that body's going to fall off the hook and they're probably still going to drop. They're going to have a Gaboon Viper slinging around. It's just not a good situation. So 2 hooks with their weight is better for them. When they get really big, we'll probably have to switch to like a flat hook or 2, but right now these will be just fine. So we go ahead and unlock the cage fully with where it's at. Its head's located right there. I will use a tool to open the cage. Woo, darling, she is tuned up. Same thing here. Now this is not the permanent cage, obviously this is a grow up cage, and she is almost sized out of there. I know. She does not like going on the hook typically, but she'll do it for me, won't you, girly? So there are 2 hooks. You can see she settles down pretty nice. We're going to take her out. We're going to set her right there on the table. Now, I would usually not say, you know, if you're working by yourself, don't ever leave one of these out and turn your back on it. But since I got camera guy Curtin here, who is an experienced venomous keeper himself, like, you know, at least when he's with me, we're going to go ahead and just let it sit there so you all can see it. This is the size of a Gaboon Viper poop out of a Gaboon Viper that size. They do tend to store their shit, so you get a big, gnarly, nasty poop. Yuck, right?
Does that mostly contain what's in it?
Whatever byproduct they don't eat. So like, well, I guess they eat it. Whatever byproduct they don't want. So you have a lot of probably hair mass and things like that. They don't digest well. You know, just whatever's in normal shit. I've never really done a full breakdown.
Can they digest bone?
They can digest bone. So here we had a shed. Now, because I've been gone for a few days, and this happened while I was gone, I probably will not be able to preserve this shed, which is unfortunate, because it's a pretty nice one. There's a little tear there, but it does look like it's complete. You know, we do like to kind of inspect these if we can, as best we can. Trying to get to the face of the matter. And if we can see the face, which we may not be able to on this piece, it ain't looking really good. So there may be another piece in there with it. But pretty nice shed, pretty complete. Looks pretty good. This looks like a piece from the bottom jaw. So I may find the face mask still. Just a double check for the eye caps is mostly what I was looking for. So like I say, a lot of times you will find the face cap, and there you can see, well, I can't get to all pull apart, but there is clear evidence of an eye cap being shed right there. That's what I really wanted to see. So good news right there. So we're probably doing just fine on our shedding, which is to be expected. Kind of look her over the cage, make sure there's no poop we're missing or anything else, which is looking pretty good. We'll take this opportunity to do a full, it's a leaf, clean on her water dish. That's just really to get, you know, make sure it's cleaned out. Kurt's going to yell at me, I got to turn on the light. But I want you to notice while I'm doing this, so I know this is not the most interesting part. If you remember or go back, I'd recommend going back to get a good view. the size of her when we got her and how much she has grown already. She has put on a lot of size in a very short amount of time, which is kind of counter to what we said we were going to do. We talked about growing her slowly, right? Well, we still are. She has not grown nearly as quick as our last one. So she's doing very, very good. But they do put on size well. She eats well. She never misses a meal anymore. She tends to eat in front of us. She is an awesome, awesome snake. So what we'll do is we'll put that back in there, kind of spread her leaves back around. Then I'm going to take this opportunity while she's out to go ahead and do a nice heavy misting. I can really get into every spot, because I don't have to worry about her being in there. This is something that I do. I mist her almost daily. Obviously, if I'm gone for a day or two, it ain't that big of a deal. Where we've changed our care for this animal is instead of using like a hose to mist her, I'm using a spray bottle. The spray bottle puts out a lot finer mist, so I'm not saturating it near as much. It's going to look very saturated, but it's just saturated on the surface. I think our last snake, the main problem it ended up with was an infection in the cloaca brought on by too much moisture, because she hardly would move. She would lock the moisture in I was putting in, and then, yeah, we don't like that. So we're trying to avoid that, and this is one of the ways we do it. We're still misting, still encouraging drinking, but putting a lot less water in, even though it looks like a ton. It won't penetrate that deep. And what they really need is humidity to shoot up and then come back down. They don't need super high humidity constantly. They kind of want it doing this, and that will encourage them, but they typically drink off their coils, although she will drink off of a dish, and we'll try to encourage that when I put her back in there. Hi, sweetheart. But just take a minute to appreciate a fresh shed Gaboon, and you can really see all the colors there. I mean, she's super friendly. You just want to reach out and like tickle her. Don't do that though. Bad juju. I love the patterns on these. I love the hourglass. Matter of fact, I used this for inspiration one time in talking about time, and that was a post we did do on Patreon. I took a picture of the hourglass marking and we labeled it time. It's just, I don't know, this snake is one of those animals that I kind of feel like looks into your soul, even though it probably does not. I know, sweetie. Now, with the small hook, it's easy to get underneath her. Slide the other one in like so. Then you got the 2 points. And when you have her picked up at 2 points, another nice thing about 2 hooks, they tend not to crawl as much. Otherwise, she likes to crawl off a hook. Oh, like that. Crawl in there, though. I know. Just when I say works better, they'll make a liar out of you every time. So get her off the hook. I said we would try to encourage her to drink. Well, how we're going to do that is we're going to move her head very, very gently and try to put her to the water. Now, she'll go on her own. Awesome. This isn't to be mean. I'm not dunking her to be mean like at a dunk tank. It's to show her the water's right there. Sometimes she'll realize she needs a drink. So let's give her a little bit of water. And now what we'll do when we come back, she'll very likely start drinking here in just a little while. And if she's not needing a drink, she won't. So it's not that big of a deal. But it does help encourage. Plus, there's plenty of leaf litter she can drink off of right now. The back wall, all those things that are nice. Always make sure you lock your cage. In this case, it's not a physical lock. And I know somebody's going to go on there and be like, A, kiss my ass. And B, this whole facility is physically locked. Not once, twice. There's a lock in the front, and then there's a lock to get into this facility. So yes, my Gaboon Viper cage doesn't have a physical lock on it. It has that holds the door closed, this that holds the door closed, and this that holds the door closed. 3 things that I do to make sure that door stays closed, right? It's not getting out. The physical lock is to keep people out, not snakes in. The only person who should be in here is me. That's it. If I'm not in here, nobody else should be in here, other than maybe Kurt or Question Girl if I told her to come in here and do something. The only people with keys. When Kurt's here, he has kids. But I guarantee you he doesn't let his kids in the reptile room run around, because if he does and they get stupid, because kids do that sometimes, they can get bit by this. Or that rattlesnake that doesn't have a lock. Or those 2 that don't have a lock. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad juju. That's why this room locks off separately. You can come in the house, but you still can't get in here. It's really simple. Kurt, any questions you want to ask about this Gaboon Viper or the cage locking system that we don't have? I just bring that up because people bitch every time.
Do Gaboon Vipers have heat pits?
So they don't. you hear people refer to pit vipers and old world vipers and things like that. The Gaboon viper does not have heat pits, so they cannot sense heat in that way like a rattlesnake can. So I'll tell you, the rattlesnake's one of the most highly evolved venomous snakes on the planet. They have a warning system, they have the heat pits, they got everything going for them. These guys are pretty old world. They got some big old fangs, probably some of the best camouflage in nature, honestly. Like, they can just disappear, and a big animal like this should not be able to do that, but it does a wonderful job. You have an itch? That was like the cutest thing I've ever seen. When something that can kill me just scratches its face like a little puppy. It's like squirrel. But they do not have heat sensing pits. That being said, their sense of smell is on point. They can see movement very, very well. They're just not going to see that heat signature. Any other questions?
So they can't see like the predator?
They can't see like the predator. If you want one to see like the predator, man, you're going to need to get you a rattlesnake or like a lance head. Most of those tend to be over here. I think there are some pit, don't get me, like, I'm not an expert on all things viper. I'm an expert on what I keep. That's about it. And that's because I teach myself and make, oh my God, she's yawning. Oh yeah, look at that, y'all. You are welcome, YouTube.
Well, I didn't.
You didn't get on camera.
No, because there's a big black bar in the middle of it.
So Kurt missed the yawn. Yell at Kurt. Could have stepped up and got that for you. So my cameraman is usually awesome, but I got to see something y'all didn't get to see, unfortunately. So no, they don't have predator vision. Anything else you want to ask?
No.
I can tell you this, when they yawn, it's really cool. Hopefully we'll catch you sometime. Thanks for watching, YouTube. We'll see you next time.